We meet again. Um, Posty's been. I'm very excited about this one. I'm not talking too loud because the neighbours are just over the fence. So, oh, um, yeah. I've been getting pretty tired of what's on YouTube, and I've got my favourites, half a dozen of them. You know who you are: Harris Pilton, Alan Static Traveller, Ben Rankin, Brian Embryonic Robot. That's just off the top of my head. They're ones I always look forward to. Always. Unfortunately, a lot of them only do a video every few months. But anyway, better than nothing at all. So it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, I put on, I had the hots for Sick and Pigs by Canned Heat. And I've got the album called Hallelujah. It's a good album. And I thought, geez, I've got to hear that. And I've got it. I thought it's just easier to listen to it on YouTube. And the minute that came up, and I posted it to Facebook for a friend I knew who would like that. He might not have heard it. And then you turn it on a couple of hours later, and you start scrolling, and there's Canned Heat everywhere. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's getting really tiresome. This has got nothing to do with... Sick and Pigs. It was the flip side of Bad Moon, a single they put out, which was never released in Australia. I don't know what it's like. I must look it up. But it's punk, big time. It's really grungy. It's grungy. I mean, if you see the Eight Way Santa Tad album, the one that they put out after they removed the one with the couple on the cover, it's just a picture of Tad and the band in a cow shed or something. And I thought, how boring. But then when you see what inspired it is the 45, the picture of Canned Heat. It's Bob Hite, known as the Bear, standing there topless with his baseball cap and the band around him and some pigs in a pig sty. I thought, fuck, that's where Tad got the idea for that cover. It's a great track, man. It's grunty. It got banned on a lot of stations in America because it's a put down on the LA police, back in the 68, bashing hippies on the head with batons and things. And the reason why it got banned on a lot of channels is right at the end, Henry Vestine, the wonderful guitarist, original guitarist in Canned Heat, he's having a go at them, and he actually puts the police. He says, if you've got any complaints, ring the police at this number, and he actually puts the police telephone number there. It's a pretty punk thing to do. Anyway. So here it is. So I need something else to do as the winter months start rolling along. I need some way to entertain myself. And what I must say is I sort of basically gave up on music when the first Resident Evil came out on PlayStation. I fucking loved it, and I was hooked. And I pretty much stopped buying new music then. I've bought a few, one or two every year or so up until about 2001. Nothing much since. But the games, I was heavily in the games for, I'd say 10 years, 96 to 2005. And oh my God, this is amazing. I had this years ago, and I gave them to my nephew, who's now in the Australian Federal Police, and dealing with pedos and terrorists and stuff. So he's come a long way from being a bottle shop attendant. Good on him. I always knew he'd be a cop. or joined the army. This looks absolutely mint. Well, it's not absolutely, but some of you might remember this. Doom. This is sort of the granddaddy of first-person shooters. This and Wolfenstein 3D. I used to play that after hours at work for hours and hours. And this is back when they had a real booklet, with all the stuff. And then you'd have to. This one's an easy game. It's as simple as they come. It's just pixelated. I love that stuff. I was a heavy pinball addict for years in the 70s, and got into Space Invaders, all that stuff. I've always loved the electronic games, but Resident Evil got me in, and this one is just basic, and it's very pixelated, but these are some of the baddies. It's just mindless violence, You just get a shotgun and you just run around. I look forward to this. A good way to let off steam. This is in great nick. I'm extremely pleased. I got this for $40, which is pretty good, because these early PlayStation games from over 30 years ago now, some of them are going. I've got one on Dreamcast, the Resident Evil 2, my favourite game of all time. I've got the original PlayStation version, but I got the Dreamcast to get Code Veronica, and then I got the Resident Evil 2 because it was just it's a shame Sega's Dreamcast flopped, because they just didn't have the games for people older than kids. There was all kiddie shit, but they did have a couple of good ones, and so it just looks so good, on Sega. But so here it is. This is my entertainment for a while. Just get away from YouTube for a little bit. No, I still have a quick look every morning, but I'm getting really fed up with some of these ones that used to be just like, cottage industry types like me and that. And they start out like with 3 or 4 viewers, and you promote them, and then they get 5 or 10, and then eventually after a while they start putting all these graphics up there, and then that guy, Classic Album Reviews, he started out pretty good years ago. He was just reading it off stuff that was written in Rolling Stone magazine, but he put it across quite well, And now every day it's like 10 albums I hate, 10 albums I love, 10 albums you should. It's just fucked. Pardon my French. Au revoir, mes amis.